Hey guys, welcome back to the shop, and if you're new here, then welcome. Today we are going to make some gaskets for engines and other machine parts without the gasket paper and maybe without the old gasket. So I was taught this trick by a mechanical genius friend of mine a long time ago when I was a wee young lad, and I've used it. It's served helpful over the years, and it's got me out of a bind a couple of times, and almost like every tip and trick that I recommend might not necessarily be the right way to do it. This one does work. I can tell you that now. It does work. I remember when I put a gasket that was made by me, not out of gasket paper, into an engine, and I forgot years later that it was still in there. It never had a problem, and I only tore the engine apart to do some routine work on it, and there it was. A gasket. Not gasket paper, but a gasket nevertheless, and it's not using that annoying gasket paste, that gasket glue. That does work. I've used that as well, but this is you can even use this in conjunction with the glue if you wish, just a little dabble here and a little dabble there. But no, this is a way that will work, and I'm going to show you how to do it. But as you can see, we're looking at a bed. I've got a bed in here. My brother is moving house soon, and yeah, you know, that I've ended up with a bed in the shop. So for you it's gonna look like no time at all, but for me it'll feel like an eternity, because I just want to get going and I need to find somewhere else to put that, because yeah, for this one we need to be able to move around. I need some clear workbench space, and yeah, that's the workbench behind, so we're gonna have to move that, and then we'll get into the video. Well, it ain't perfect, but it's good enough. Right, let's begin. Coffee made, everything in place, and we've got a bit of space to do this. So let's talk about the different types of gaskets. So actually I bought these gaskets a while ago. I bought them from China, and the blue paper, gasket paper, is what makes the gaskets for almost all of the parts on the engine, but they were so brittle that half of them were just broken by the time they'd been shipped here, so that's no good. This is a cylinder head gasket for the bottom of the cylinder actually, and you can see that there's different types. So the ones we're interested in today is not these metal or copper gaskets, not the rubber ones or the plasticky ones. We want to make a paper gasket. This trick will only work for the paper gasket, in which case you'll have to find other materials to make these. In the case of these ones, these heat-proof ones, yeah, to make this, you're going to need to get the right gasket material. There we go, get that to focus. So now that you understand that, I'll show you what we can do. We need some basic simple supplies to do this. Knives are what you need. A pencil is great. A rubber, a razor, a pen maybe, and a pencil sharpener. You're also going to need a couple of small sockets, but we'll get those as and when we need them. And they're just basically to punch the holes in the gasket. You might even need, we're going to replicate this one off the bat. You're probably going to need a larger socket too, so you can just get that nice clean punch in there. But yeah, this is just your standard gasket paper, and we're going to replicate that using nothing other than a cereal box. I've not had my Weetabix this morning actually, which is ironic, but this cereal box is a lifesaver as and when you need it. So let's make some gaskets, and we'll have a little bit of a chat as we do it, and I'll tell you a story from when I used this method a few years ago. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we'll start, assuming that you have the gasket, even if it's got a tear in it, which is the common problem, that's the death of a gasket. If it's got a tear in it, that's no problem, as long as you get it close enough to what you need. Remember, if it's being pressed between two machine pieces of metal, if it's not the perfect size, yeah, you know, you're gonna have leakage. So if it's got a tear in it, either try and degrease it carefully and reconstruct it, or just press that tear together just while you get the outline of it. So you'll see what I mean. So we do need a pair of scissors as well for this, so take your cereal box and just cut it right down the middle. You want the largest size of cardboard you can get. Just say right down the middle. I meant right down the edge. Cut it right down the edge because we want that large bit of cardboard to play with. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the more room you give yourself, obviously the more opportunity you have to make gaskets. Not doing a great job of this, but there we go. So obviously when you're trying to save space, start from the corners. We'll start from up here, and in this case what I would do is I would take a pencil and I would draw around the outside of the gasket. I appreciate you won't be able to see fully what's going on here, but just slowly draw around it with a pencil. Take your time. And then you don't really need to, but I'll draw around the inside as well, just so you can better see that outline in there. Oh, I screwed that one, but that'll be okay because we know where to punch. So you have your outline of your gasket here, and what we would do now is either you have the option to either punch the holes first using a socket and a hammer, or you can cut it out first. But what we'll do is we'll punch it first and then we'll cut it out. So because I've been doing work away from the workshop, all of my tools, well, most of my tools at the moment are in a tool bag, which is super convenient when you go away because you can take what you need with you. But yeah, now I've got to go rooting for the right things. I might be able to find them in the toolbox, but we'll punch this out and then we'll cut it out, and then you'll have a gasket, and that will work. It will work. It's, yeah, I love it. Let's go and find something to punch it. Right, so here we are, found this 9/16 imperial socket, and that pit fits perfectly into that hole. It's almost hard to do, but you can see there it fits almost perfectly. So yeah, when you've got a bit of meat on the outside of the gasket, either end, it doesn't really matter if it's a little bit bigger or a tiny bit smaller. A little bit bigger would probably be best. So that fits almost perfectly like that. And then you need a small socket to punch your holes. Okay, so I can't find a socket that's small enough. The smallest I can find at the moment is 5mm, so I don't often go that small with sockets. But we've got a bolt. A bolt's going to work fine, and since this is a way to do it when you're in the field or in a pinch, then yeah, we'll go with the bolt. So you put your bolt there. You can see that that matches the hole perfectly. Okay, so now that the gasket's done and we've found things that will punch the holes, we'll go ahead and punch them. So we're going to need to just line that up as best as we can and give it a nice decisive thud. That's one punched. Again, that hole's not perfect, but we'll line it up centrally. That's two holes punched, and then we'll take this socket here, line that up the best we can. So we need to really watch the perimeter on this one, because if this one's not right, it won't really go on straight. Well, it's the same for all of them, I suppose, but yeah, it's going to need a bit more. Hey again guys, you join me from the editing suite. With these big holes, just drill the fucking things out. Even the small ones, just use a drill and drill the fucking things out. If you don't have a drill, yeah, use the knife, do whatever, take a bolt, take a socket, just get the holes in it. I don't know why I overcomplicated this. I've had things on my mind, I had somewhere to be soon after making the video, but just use a drill. Everything is gonna work just fine, just fine. But this is just a note for later in the video, okay? I apologise for that, and also I apologise for the teething issues in this video with the sound and the camera positioning. I'm still learning. I've got to tune the microphone and all of that sort of stuff, but I am trying to bring you the best quality content I can, and this is just a note that I'm making notes all the time, just trying to be better and bring you better quality content. And I feel like with this video it's good enough to go out. The premise is there, but yeah, take that into consideration. As long as you get the holes in it, everything is fine. So we've got this gasket cut out. There's a little bit of overhang around the edges here, but that doesn't matter. The engine won't care. The main thing is it will actually seal within the machine part. So anything sticking out doesn't matter. It's just visually displeasing, but the engine isn't going to turn up a fuss at that. So then we'll bring our bolt along and just finish off the job with the punching. And then there's your second hole. So then it's just a central hole. Now this one's giving me a bit of grief because the socket's sort of blunt to push through it. So what we'll do is we'll bring a knife along and we'll make a cut. There we go, there's a gasket. Now it's not perfect, but it will work, and like I say, I've used it before, and it's worked a charm for me. And you can get into the hiffy and jiffy of it. I could really put some effort into doing this perfectly, but I've got things to do today, and I just wanted to pass this on to you guys so that you can use it when you need it. And when you get the premise of it, it's up to you how you want to do it, whether you want to punch it with a bolt, whether you want to cut it with a knife. These larger holes, having been many years since I've done this, I do recommend that you cut them with a knife. Just be persistent, be careful, and remember when you take a chunk out the middle of it, you're going to lose some of that rigidity in the card. But yeah, cardboard box, knife, pencil, and something to go off, even if it's just the casing of the engine or whatever part, the actual physical part, not just the gasket, then you should be able to get it done. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Subscribe and like and all of that, and look after yourselves and enjoy yourselves out there. Goodbye.